we go. All right, this is number 6-9. All right, so for this one, okay, so remember I told you to struggle with this? I mean, there are many ways to solve this problem, but it tells you what to use. It says, number h of x is equal to absolute value of x plus 7, and c is equal to -7. Now, I know that first of all, there are a couple things you need to know. First, you don't know what alternate derivative is, okay? But it tells you to use it, all right? Another thing is you don't know how to solve these absolute value questions. You aren't used to it. Like you didn't practice enough during the integrated 3. Does that make sense? So we kind of have to learn how to solve absolute value problems. So let's go back and recap absolute value. So how do we solve absolute value questions? So for example, let's say if I have absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to 3. Anybody know how to solve this problem? Yeah, see, we're not in a really good place right now because these things are in like integrated 1, 2, and 3. So any suggestions at all? It's okay. Again, I'm not blaming anyone. So what you need to do is you need to separate this. So absolute value has actually 2 separate problems. Okay, one of them is a negative side. Other one is a positive side. Okay, why do I get that? Because I want you to think about this. I want you to think about absolute value of x is equal to 2. What numbers can I have in this x so that I can get 2? 2 or -2. How many of you guys understand that? Raise your hand. Okay? So in absolute value, you can have 2 or -2, you get a positive 2. So you have a negative side and a positive side. So you form 2 different equations. One of them is negative, parentheses, x minus 1 is equal to 3, is your first equation on the negative side. So negative side is kind of like from the left side when you look at your limit. Does that make sense? And then positive means you're coming from the right side. Okay, we haven't done calculus yet. This is like, integrated 2 and integrated 1 stuff. You understand? So the second part, positive, is positive x minus 1 is equal to 3. And you solve both of them. So if you solve this, this is negative x plus 1. Or, can I just move the negative to the other side? I think it might be easier. Is that okay? So x minus 1 is equal to -3. You add 1, and you add 1. X is equal to -2. All right, so then there's one of your solution. And then the other one, you don't have to move the positive because positive is positive. So you add 1, so x is equal to 4. This is the other one. Now, you're supposed to check to see if you have any extraneous solution. Do you guys remember that word, extraneous solution? What does it mean by extraneous solution? Like some of them works and some of them doesn't work. Like sometimes when you get 2 solutions, maybe both might work, or maybe one of them might work, or both of them might not work. So how do I know if both of them will work or not? What do I need to do? Go back and plug it back in. So what is it? Isn't it -2 minus 1? What's -2 and -1? Isn't it -3 absolute value? Does that equal to 3? Yeah, so this one is good, check. And then what about 4? This is 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So what is 4 minus 1? Isn't that absolute value of 3, which is 3? Does that work? So check. So both of them are good. All right, this was a really short recap of absolute value equation. How many of you guys kind of remember this? Okay, good. All right, very good. All right, we're going to go back to our problem now, calculus. Now, for this one, for the alternate, I know that I didn't say yet, alternate form, alternate derivative. Even though I don't mention some of the formulas, at this level, there's no way I can cover the whole lesson. Does that make sense? Especially when I have to take time to review. like I take time to review with you guys, don't I? Then I don't have enough time to go back and go over the entire lesson in one day. So I expect you to, once you understand the basic concept, I want you to go back and try to find the alternate derivative. Go back to your page in chapter 1, and can someone tell me where you can find alternate derivative formula? This is all about finding the right formula. So go back to your page and find that formula for me, okay? Someone find alternate derivative formula. There you go. All right, so someone said page 129. It was really quick, wasn't it? So don't you have a book at home? So turn to page 129. So it says, I'm going to copy this. It's highlighted in burgundy or gray. It says, not burgundy, the gray color, right? All right, so it's f prime of c is equal to limit x goes to c, f of x minus f of c all over x minus c. All right, so here we go. This is a formula that we have to use. Now we need to use this form right here. This is a given information to kind of mimic what we have there. So can someone help me to follow this formula with the given information? All right, let's see if you guys can do it. I want you to think about it. I know that you guys are capable of following the direction. I know what we have at the bottom. I know what I have in the limit part. Limit. Can someone help me with the limit part? X goes to -7. Very good. I know that. I know what I have at the bottom part. Can someone help me with the bottom part? Nobody?
X minus -7.
Yeah, x minus -7. Don't be shy. Okay, that was it. So what's x minus -7?
X plus 7.
Plus 7. Okay, we'll write that later on. You just have to know that this is, you know that comes from c, right? Okay. Can someone help me with the top part?
Absolute value of x plus 7.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So absolute value of x plus 7 minus
X, minus 7. -7.
it's not -7, it is minus absolute value of -7. There's more. Remember, this is c is something. Remember, c is kind of like x, right? We're getting close to c. What is it? Well, hold on. Isn't it c plus 7? Isn't that your formula? C plus 7? Right? If you follow f of c, isn't it c plus 7? How many of you guys see that? F of c is c plus 7. You don't see it? Only 2 people? Seriously? Alright, so if I have, this is it, right here. If I tell you to find f of c, this is absolute value of c plus 7. If I ask you to find f of k, then what is f of k? Absolute value of k plus 7. What if I ask you to find f of circle or 0? Absolute value of circle or 0 plus 7. So if they're asking you to find f of c, it is c plus 7. So the form, maybe I should have wrote it as limit as x goes to c, x plus 7 minus c plus 7 all over x minus c. Does everyone understand the formula? And then I'm replacing c with what value? Because it says c is what number on the top? Negative 7. So this is limit x goes to negative 7, absolute value of x plus 7 minus negative 7 plus 7 all over x minus negative 7. Alright, how many of you guys follow what I just did with the equation? Limit. Alright, so you need to figure that out, okay? If you're having a hard time, you might want to ask your neighbor later on. Okay, we're not quite done, okay? This is just substituting. We haven't done anything. So what we get is this. So we get limit x is approaching to negative 7, absolute value of x plus 7, all over x plus 7. That's a simplified form of the alternate derivative. Why do I get that? Don't you get a 0 over here? Yeah? Okay. Now I need to find the limit of this. How do I find the limit of this? I need to check from both sides. I can use a table, right? So what can I check from? Look, we can use a table. What number do I need to check on the left side? Negative 7.001 on the left side. Don't use a table. We're not going to use a table, right? Because table is not our best option. I'm just saying that we can use a table, right? And what's the right side value? Negative 6.9999. And then we try to figure these two values out and then see if they're matching or not, right? We can use a table, but we're not. We can also use, what else can we use? Graphing. We can use a graphing. All right, go ahead and take out your graphing calculator. Go ahead and graph this and tell me what it looks like. And by the way, how many of you guys see a graph of this in your head? You do? Oh, that's pretty awesome, man. You can see that?
It's an
Okay.
absolute value.
Huh? It's not, okay, go ahead and graph it. It's not a V.
It's not a V.
Yeah, it's not a V.
It's sort of like that.
Yeah, it's two horizontal lines. Yeah, like Mr. Cabrera said. He knows it because he knows his calculus. Yeah.
I just did it last period.
All right, so go ahead and graph it out. With your graphing calculator, I don't care. So, was that what you were imagining? What does it look like?
You guys know how to do absolute value in calculator?
Oh, you don't.
Math, and then go to the right versus number, and then the first one says ABS.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you got to go to math. Thank you, Mr. Caballas. All right, you got to go to math, and then you need to move it over to the number, and then you're going to find ABS, which is the absolute value. All right, so, and then you need to have a fraction too. So it's really important that you guys practice using your calculator. All right, you need to know how to use your calculator. All right. This weekend, you should spend more time with your calculator rather than your phone. You're laughing, but I'm serious. Okay? I'm kidding, yeah. It was a joke. I'm sure you're not. Isn't it funny how you put your phone next to your bed and always like it's by your side? Isn't it? Your phone is always by your side. Can you imagine what you can do with your calculator if your calculator is by your side every single day, every night? Oh my gosh. That would be awesome. You would have no life, right? You'll be home, partying with your calculator. Okay, so does it look like somewhat like this at -7? you have like a horizontal line here and then horizontal line there, like this, 2 rays like that. Do you get something like that? How many of you guys get that? Raise your hand. Oh shoot. Only. Oh, okay. Here you go. Here's a calculator. All right. So we'll do it together, okay? All right, guys, pay attention. Look at your calculator. You know, clear out everything. Learn how to use it. First, you need to go to math, and then move it over to the fraction. Do you see the fraction? And then make sure you have a fraction like that. And then go to math, and then move it over to the number. And then there's ABS, and enter. There's the absolute value. And then you put x plus 7, and then x plus 7 underneath. All right, so check to see if you have that, and then you graph it out. So do you see those two like lines or horizontal line? It skips over. So what happens over here? Is it connected or is it disconnect? What number is this right here? We're at what number? What number is this right here? Someone say it. -7. So as according to this graph, which is this one right here, okay, according to this graph, which is this one at -7, as I approach, remember we're supposed to check from both sides, right? So as I approach from the left side, I get closer and closer and closer to what value? Left side would be what? What's your limit from the left side? What is your limit from the left side? What do you think? It is -1. How many of you guys understand why? No? Isn't it -1? When you look at this y value, isn't it at -1? Okay, what is it from the right side? +1. So do they match from left to right? So what can you tell me about this limit? Does not exist. Alright, that was just too complicated with table and graph. Do you see it? But I still want you to understand with your graph. Because if you understand this problem in a variety of different ways, most likely you have a pretty good idea what to do with this in the future. But if you only know one way, which is the easiest way, this is the easiest way, you can actually solve this algebraically. So how do I solve this algebraically? Simplify this. So you say limit x approaches to -7 from the left side. Remember we talked about left side, negative means left side. From absolute value, you put negative parentheses x plus 7 over x plus 7. Can we cancel this one and that one? So what is your value? -1. Wasn't that it? Left side was -1. And remember in the beginning, I showed you in the beginning, how do we solve absolute value? You have a left side and the right side. So this is a limit. X is approaching to -7 from the right side. Then you put positive x plus 7 over x plus 7. So what is it? 1. Isn't that the right side? Do they match? No. So therefore, limit does not exist. Of course, which way is the easiest? Yeah, one that I just finished, right? But can you solve it in 3 different ways? Of course you can. You end up with the same answer. But I do want you to see what's going on. And eventually, you need to memorize functions like this. Because we're going to see a lot of these type of functions. Alright? So try to memorize them. Okay. And have your calculator always next to you. So that's your answer. I think we're done. Okay, I know that we went really long way to solve this, but it shouldn't take this long. Like if I see this problem now again, how long should it take you to finish this problem? 2 minutes. I mean, can't you do this pretty quickly if you know how to do it? Like you go left side and right side, you cancel -1 and +1, and we're done. That's it. Anything else from your homework? Yeah.
35.
Number 35. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 35. Thirty-five is a tough question. F of x is equal to x to the third power. And then it says we have this equation, 3x minus y plus 1 is equal to 0. Alright, if you read the direction on the top, the direction says what? Alright, go back to your direction and then read the direction. What do they want you to find?
Find the equation of the line tangent.
Tangent to the graph, and then parallel to this one. So I want you to think about this again visually. I want you to understand the story behind this. It's like they're telling you a story, and you need to be able to kind of visualize it. Okay, I used to tell my other calculus class like many years ago, like how many of you guys, when you read a book, can you actually, as you're reading your book, how many of you guys can kind of like visualize the scene like a movie as you're reading it? Some people can. Some people just read the words. That's it. When you're reading, you just read the words. Some people can actually visualize the scene in your head. Now, same thing with this. As you read this, I can visualize this like a movie scene. How many of you guys can see a graph of this and picture of this and what they're asking you to do? Yeah, 2 people. All right, so this is it. I want you to see this. Just pay attention and understand what I'm telling you. My graph is going to go somewhat like this. Do we understand that? And this one is a line. This is a line. This line, is it tangent to this curve or is it not tangent to it? This line, I don't know if it is tangent or not. So how do I draw this line? Don't I rearrange this? So isn't this negative y is equal to negative 3x minus 1? Or yeah? And then multiply by negative. So y is equal to 3x plus 1. So I go to 1 and then up 3 over 1 and so on like that. Do you think this line is tangent to the curve? Yes or no? Is it tangent? Yes or no?
No.
Answer is no. Tangent does not go through a point. You have to barely touch the corner. But they're asking you to do what? Find a line. They want you to find a line someplace over here. Looks like I can find a line over here. That might be parallel. Parallel to this red line. I need to find this line. How many lines do you think we might have? Look at your graph. How many lines do you think we might have?
2 possible lines.
2 possible lines over here someplace.
Yeah.
We might have another line over here. That might give you a second tangent line that is parallel to the red line. I don't know where this thing is. I have no idea. But I have an idea that I'm supposed to find 2 tangent lines. Okay, I know the slope of this red line. Can someone tell me the slope of this red line? What is it?
Y equals 3x plus 1. Oh my bad.
It's just 3.
3.
So now that I know the slope of this line, can someone tell me the slope of this line?
3.
3. Why is it 3?
It's parallel.
Parallel. Then what is the line? What's the slope of this line?
3.
3. Again, it's because parallel. Okay. So I have all that information. I haven't done anything, right? This is me just visualizing in my head. Okay, I'm trying to understand this question. All right, so now I need to do some calculus. What do I use to find this thing?
The tangent.
Yeah, so I need to use a tangent formula. What's the tangent formula? Limit as h. Remember, in the book, it is change in x, but I'm using h. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
So h goes to 0. When you see the solution in your book, they have it as change in x. Do you understand that? But you just have to change it to h. You know that, right? So this is f of x plus h minus f of x. You stay with me, okay? Do not copy, just stay with me. You guys help me out. So everyone help me out, please. What is f of x plus h? Someone.
X plus h cubed.
X plus h parentheses cube is f of x plus h. Minus, what is f of x?
X cubed.
X cubed all over h. Alright. Do you see this x plus h to the third power?
Yeah.
How many of this do you have?
3.
3 of them. So it means you have x plus h times x plus h times x plus h. What do you need to do with those 3 things?
Foil.
You need to FOIL. Okay, in this class, we should be able to FOIL that just like this. Can you do that?
X cubed plus x cubed.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay, go ahead and FOIL this really quick. And you already did it last night. So this is x to the third plus 3x squared h plus 3xh squared plus h to the third minus x to the third. How many of you guys know the shortcut for this? Okay, what's the shortcut?
Isn't it 1?
It's Pascal triangle.
Yeah.
1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. How many of you guys remember Pascal triangle? Okay, you're supposed to cover this from integrated 3. This is how you multiply binomials really quickly by using this Pascal triangle. If you don't know how to use this Pascal triangle, what do I need to do?
Foil.
Just FOIL by hand. Does that make sense? You just need to FOIL. Okay, so stay with me. Alright, so we have limit h goes to 0. Okay, I'm going to take out all the bracket. Make sure you distribute the negative. So this is x to the third plus 3x squared h plus 3xh squared plus h to the third minus x to the third all over h. Alright, what do you notice?
The x cubed cancel out.
Okay, x cubed will cancel out. Stay with me. Don't write this. Just stay with me. Alright, what do you notice? Once you cancel out x to the third, what do?
Factor out the h.
Factor out the h. Do you see the h? So what is it if you factor out the h? Help me. What do we have?
3x.
3x squared plus 3xh
plus h squared.
h squared all over
H.
h. Do you think we did this correctly?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we did. Okay? So can I use direct substitution now?
Yes.
Plug in 0, plug in 0. What do you get?
3x squared.
3x squared is your formula. This is your formula. What formula? This is your slope formula. This is m formula. Okay, so go ahead and copy this if you want to. Alright? I'll give you about a minute. Copy it really quick. I'm done. Okay, so I'll give you about 30 more seconds to write this. I know some of you guys have to leave in about 5 minutes, I understand. Okay, so give me 5 minutes. I'll finish everything in 5 minutes. You know this is being recorded, right?
Yes.
So you can watch this thing over again. You know that, right? You should have your calculator next to you every day, and you should have your Canvas next to you and watch my video every day. No? Okay, never mind. You don't sound too excited over those things. Okay, stop writing. Pay attention now. Stop writing. I don't care if you're done or not. Stop writing. Okay, look. Remember what I told you? We already know something from the beginning. I said we know what from our visualization.
Slope.
Slope. We know the slope. What is your slope?
3.
Slope is 3. So do you see this? This formula is slope. Do you understand that? So it is 3x squared is equal to 3 because this is a slope and this is a slope. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
How many of you guys understood what I just said? Okay, very nice. Okay, so you solve for x squared. So what is x squared? So you cancel out the 3's, x squared is equal to 1, you take the square root. So what is x equal to?
Plus or minus 1.
Plus and minus 1. So what does this mean? We actually have
2 lines.
2 solutions. One of them is, your first solution is -1 comma something, and your second solution is 1 comma something else. How do I find this y value if you have your x? How do I find the y value?
Point slope.
No, you go back to your original function right there. What number do you plug in? -1, what is -1 to the third power? -1 is your first point right there. This point down here is at -1 comma -1. And it makes sense. It looks like it's at -1 comma -1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, what about your second solution? Where is it? 1 and 1, because 1 to third. It looks like it's about at 1 comma 1, doesn't it? Okay? Alright, we're not done yet. We found the points for both lines. How do I find the equation of the first line? How do I find the equation of the first line? Plug it into y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. How do I find the equation of the second line? Plug it into, same thing. And then you find the equation. There it is. How many of you guys knew how to do this on your own? Oh boy. Okay. It's okay. Like I said, we're spending an extra day today. So we only have a few questions for you to finish. Alright? So go ahead and work on that for the rest of the class. And then if you have to leave, have a good weekend. And I'll see you